Hey everybody, it's Jason Shadrick with Premier Guitar, and we're at the Fender booth at Summer NAMM 2019. I'm here with Shane, amp guru for Fender, and we're going to be talking about two new models of amps that use modeling, surprisingly enough. Now, when I rolled up, they look just like a regular deluxe or twin, of course, but tell us what's going on kind of under the hood with these models, Shane.
Okay, well at Fender we've been doing modeling for decades. This isn't our first rodeo, but we decided with our first fully professional modeling product to do what we're best at, combo amps. And what better than to do the venerable Twin Reverb and Deluxe Reverb. So these amps from the front perform exactly the same as like if you get a 65 reissue Twin or Deluxe. Same features, functions, pot tapers, all that kind of stuff. But we have some very ultra modern things as well around back.
And as we were talking before, you guys showed an admirable amount of restraints when not trying to pack the kitchen sink into everything.
Exactly. We refrained from doing presets or MIDI or any of that kind of stuff. It's a Twin Reverb, it's a Deluxe Reverb, the amp that everybody loves and knows and uses with their pedals, but they're extremely light. They're about half the weight of their tube counterparts, which everybody loves. And they've got some very thoughtful features added, including an XLR line output that has two different impulse response IRs that you can select. So you can even do a silent stage with this if you want, put the amp on standby, and if it's a worship situation or a casino band or something like that, you can be silent, but you still have your cool amp there. Some other features that are really important is we have a power output selector on the back. Everybody likes to run their Twin or Deluxe at 4 or 5 or whatever the sweet spot is, but if you get to the club or the rehearsal or whatever and you're a little too loud, you have lower selections you can do, and that's just...
Is that like a wattage thing, like your step up?
Yeah, and these amps utilize a very powerful Class D power amp, but they are set up to simulate the 22-watt Deluxe or the 85-watt Twin, so they're about the same apparent volume on the gig as the tube counterparts. We really put a lot of time into that.
So what they heard on the intro there is, as you can see, there's no mic in front of the cabinet here, but they're hearing the XLR out on the back. And what setting did you have it at?
I have it set to the SM57 model, which every guitar player is familiar with that microphone. It's pretty bright and pretty good attack and everything. And then for somebody who wants something a little different, the second one is a Royer ribbon mic. And we did our own IRs in a studio in Phoenix. We didn't buy them from anybody. We took the time to really get that part of it done. Some other things I like to point out too is the reverb, for example. Everybody loves and knows the Fender Spring Reverb. It's a world standard. We put a ton of processing power in to do a convolution reverb that really does exactly what the Spring does. So I'll turn this way up.
Get all Dick Dale on it.
Yeah, you can do that. So it'll do that, and it has what I call the little juicy bits on it. It's not just a ka reverb, it's got all the little springs wiggling around stuff going on.
And if you bump it, it's not gonna...
No, we thought about putting that, a motion sensor in there, but, it costs too much. So.
And probably, above all the features, like you said, the weight, it even says right on both of them, pick me up. So the Deluxe is coming in at 24 pounds, but the Twin Reverb at 33, which has to be less than half.
Yeah, I think it may get people back into Twin Reverbs again, because those have kind of, as people have gone to in-ears, and a lot of us are getting older and we don't want to pick up a 60, 70 pound Twin anymore.
Right.
If you could pick up one that's, a little over 30 pounds, it might really do it for you. We think steel guitar players, jazz players, there's lots of people who love Twins, they just don't want to lift them anymore.
On the way out, we're going to hear Rick play some pedal steel through this. So, just to kind of wrap up, has USB port for firmware upgrades. What kind of firmware upgrades are you guys thinking you might put in there?
We're not promising anything right now, but we thought that was important to put that there because, later on, maybe we get into offering some different IRs or a different tremolo circuit or whatever. We have that kind of open door to the future with these. And really, to me, the most important thing is that when the player is playing the amp, they forget that they're not playing a tube amp. Exactly. We've had a bunch of artists playing them so far, and some of them that didn't even know that they were playing a tube amp, and they go up on stage and they play, and they're like, they don't even know the difference.
Okay, let's hear the vibrato. We heard the reverb. Let's rock out the vibrato.
So now this is our we did a deep study of Fender reverb, or excuse me, of Fender tremolos, and these amps originally had the opto isolator. It's the little light bulb with the photocell and a shrink wrap on it. We had 6 or 7 old blackface and silverface amps in the lab, and we studied the rate and depth, the waveform of the tremolo, and we picked one of the amps that we thought was most representative of that era, because they're all over the map, you know. And so this will do, you know, a fairly slow, deep. You know, it'll do that one, and then conversely, it'll do the.
Yeah.
You know, the real chattery, fast one. So it's modeled exactly perfect. We used all the processing power just to do a deluxe reverb and a twin reverb.
So what'll be pricing and availability on the 2 models?
These go big in stores all over the world in September.
Oh, okay.
We've started building them. The final assembly is in our own factory in Mexico, Ensenada. So, you know, the hardware, the covering, the grill, everything looks exactly the same as the 65 reissues do. And one other thing I'd like to point out, they really, as with the original amps, they take pedals incredibly well. So you go on your overdrive pedal. Play clean. You know, the feel is there. You dig in and you feel the amp digging in.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time getting the feel of it right, which is, for a guitar player, is as important as what it sounds like.
Yeah. Cool. So pricing, you said available in September?
Yeah, U.S. advertised prices on these is $899 and $999. So, you know, considerably less money than their tube counterparts.
Yeah.
If you try these out and you go, nah, I'm going to still stick with my tube amps, it's like, we get it. We're tube guys. We've spent more time with this than anybody, and we're still going to keep making the tube amps, just like Steinway still makes grand pianos, even though a lot of people have a digital piano today. So, so we don't think tubes are going away, but we think it's time that Fender does a truly professional modeling product.
All right, so now we're here with Rick on the other side of the booth, and now we're going to hear him play pedal steel through the Twin. And one thing I wanted to ask you, Rick, was about the speakers. You guys worked with Jensen on some special speakers, correct?
Correct, yeah. We wanted to find something that would pair really nicely and have the same feel that the speakers that we normally put in the 65s do. So we work with them to create a neodymium version of that. So it's the Jensen N12K. So it's got the feel of the Cs that normally go in the standard one, but a lot less weight. That contributes to why it's so light. Yeah.
All right. We're going to have you play us out on some pedal steel. All right. This is Jason with Premier Guitar.